Moin Moin and welcome to Ralfs Foto-Bude. Yeah, some of my readers and viewers asked me which camera they should buy, and one of the most popular questions is, should I buy a DSLR or a system camera? System camera means a compact camera with interchangeable lenses. This is a good point for me because I have the Canon Rebel SL1 and the Panasonic Lumix DMC-G6 now in the Foto-Bude for testing, and so it's a good a good time to explain the differences between DSLR and system camera, or I don't know, in Germany we say system camera. I think in America it's a compact camera with interchangeable lenses. Panasonic by itself says DSLM. M stays for mirrorless because it's a mirrorless camera. Yeah, so these are the two cameras. The reason why it's good to explain or to compare both of them is because they are both almost exactly this. They have both almost the exact same size and the same weight, because in former times one of the reasons why people want to buy a system camera is because they are smaller and lighter. But with a new Rebel, the Canon makes a DSLR which is has almost exactly the same size like a system camera. So the reason, yes, I want to buy a small camera, that's no reason anymore, because you can buy this DSLR and you have the same size, same weight as a system camera. So let's go into the differences between both of the systems. Let's start with the DSLR. The DSLR, the main feature of a DSLR is the mirror in the camera. Here behind the lens, you have the mirror, and the mirror goes up when you press the shutter release. I can show you. You press the shutter release, and the mirror pops up, and you have the view to the sensor. So, and here you see the mirror again, and it goes up. So, and one thing is, just behind the mirror, I move the mirror up a little bit. I hope you can see, it's very difficult to see. But behind the mirror, there's a second mirror. You can see it a little bit going down now. You see there's a second mirror. And this has one good reason, because the light comes in the camera, goes on the mirror, and most of the light goes up to the prism and to the optical viewfinder. But part of the light goes through the mirror, and the second mirror moves the light down to the face detection autofocus sensors. So most of the light goes up to the viewfinder, part of the light goes down to the face detection autofocus sensor. And the face detection autofocus sensor is real fast, because the face detection autofocus sensor can see if the focus of the lens is behind or before the scene you want to take the picture, and the point which you want to get sharp. So you can the camera sees, okay, the focus is behind, I have to go a little bit more further, or the focus is too far, I can go a little bit back. And the good thing of the face detection is the camera can move the autofocus of the lens exactly on the point where you want to have it. So it's not a back four, try and error, but it can focus directly on the point very fast, and that's one advantage of the DSLRs, the face detection autofocus. On the other side, we have the system camera. In the system camera there's no mirror, that's why they're called also mirrorless. The light goes directly through the lens on the sensor, and you have to make the autofocus with the sensor. And it works in another way. It works with a contrast autofocus. So the camera looks at the contrast, and if the contrast is the highest value, the picture is sharp. So first you need scenes with a high contrast so that the camera can work, and the second thing is the camera only sees the contrast is low. I have to move the autofocus in one direction, but the camera don't know in this moment if it's the right direction. It could be the wrong direction, so the focus goes a little bit more further. And the camera sees, oh, the contrast is getting worse, I have to move back. So it's a trial and error, so that's why the contrast autofocus normally is a little bit slower than the face detection autofocus. So, in the last years, the system camera developers and the guys who make the autofocus systems does a lot of effort to make the autofocus systems also with the contrast autofocus much faster. And on the G6 the autofocus is real fast. Compared to the DSLR, it's a little bit slower, though. So still the DSLR is a little bit faster. But in normal scenes, the difference between DSLR and the system camera is not so high. So you can also take real good pictures and fast pictures with the system camera. You don't have the need for a DSLR. The only thing is, if you want to take sports photography where you need the most powerful and fastest autofocus, then a DSLR still is the best choice. So, next point, you have the viewfinder. This one is an optical viewfinder, so the light goes through the lens, mirror, optical viewfinder. And this one doesn't have an optical viewfinder. This one has an electronical viewfinder. So the light goes through the lens to the sensor, and from the sensor it goes through the electronical viewfinder. One advantage of the electronical viewfinder, you can put all the information you need in the electronical viewfinder. So if you have a look through the electronical viewfinder, you will see there are a lot of informations in the viewfinder. And another good point is, if you press the menu button, you will go into the menus and you can change the menus while you look through the electronic viewfinder. If you have bright light outside, high sunlight, and you can't see a lot of on the screen, it's a very good choice to have an electronical viewfinder, because you will see all the settings, all the menu, you will see everything through the electronical viewfinder. So that's a big advantage. The thing is, you have an electronic viewfinder, you don't have the absolute clear picture of an optical viewfinder. You have the small dots, even if the resolution, like the one of the G6, is very high, has 1.4 million dots, and it's an OLED monitor, so the picture is real clear, it has a high contrast, and it's very good. But it's not an optical viewfinder, so you have to deal with the pixels, and you have to deal with a little lag between the real picture and the picture on the screen. You don't have this one in the optical viewfinder. Another advantage of the electronical viewfinder, if you work in a very low light condition, if you work through an optical viewfinder, you only have the light you will see in the scene, nothing more. With an electronical viewfinder, it goes a little bit higher, so it's like an amplifier. You have more power, you have a little bit noisy picture, that's for sure. You have a pixel picture, a noisy picture, and it's not smooth if you turn the camera, but you will see a lot of more in an electronical viewfinder than in an optical viewfinder if you are taking pictures in a real dark scene. And another big advantage, if you use filters, fun filters, or anything else, you will immediately see the result in the electronical viewfinder. In optical you won't see, you will see the result only on the screen after taking the picture, or if you use the live view mode. Next point, here you don't have the difference between a live view mode and the electronical viewfinder. both is the same. It's exactly the same picture. The only thing is you have a eye control here, so you change between the control, the display, and the electronic viewfinder. But the picture is the same. The shutter speed is the same. So there's absolutely no difference between the optical view, the electronic viewfinder, and the screen on the backside. With a DSLR you have the difference. You have the optical viewfinder where the mirror is down, and then you have the live view mode, and in the live view mode the mirror goes up and you have the picture from the sensor. So let's have a look. Go up, you see the mirror is down and mirror goes up, mirror down and up. So when you change to the live view mode, the mirror goes up. The result is the face detections autofocus on the bottom of the camera doesn't get a picture. So you have to deal with another system of autofocus, and another system of autofocus is the contrast autofocus. So you work in the same way like system camera. You also have to deal with a contrast autofocus if you go in the live view mode. And because of the speciality of a DSLR is not the contrast autofocus, it's a little bit slower than the contrast autofocus of a system camera, but it works in the same way. You will see the picture. You can use the shutter in the normal way. You can, even if you have a touch screen, you can use the touch autofocus, and you can also use the touch release. So if you go on the picture, you just press the button. Now it's only, you see, and the camera takes a picture. But you will recognize it by now. It's a little bit slower. Okay, I work now very close, but it's a little bit slower than compared to the system camera. Oops, I have to turn on the shutter. That's it. Check. You see, this one is real fast. So that's the next point. You have the live view on the DSLR. It's a little bit slower. In the live view we will see the different settings, the color settings, the fun filter settings, anything else you will see in the live view, but only in a live view with a little bit slower autofocus speed than on a system camera. So these are the differences between the autofocus speed, the viewfinder, and the next point is the sensor size. In the DSLR you have the APS-C sensor. This one has 18 megapixel, or you have like this one a Micro Four Thirds sensor, and this one has 16 megapixel. The picture quality, it's a different, but it's not a real big difference. If you're not a pro and you need the last point on the picture quality between both cameras is real similar. In the high ISO area, the EOS 100 is a little bit better, but it's still not a big deal. I mean, it's not a real big difference as in former times. In former times, the system cameras didn't have such a good picture quality, but by now the picture quality is real good. They increased a lot in the picture quality. Talking about the sensor size, it makes a difference in the depth of field. The bigger the sensor, the smaller the depth of field you can make. But one important thing, if you want to have a small depth of field, you need real good lenses with a large aperture, because if you use lenses with 3.5 or 4.5 or something else like this, you will lose a lot of to play with the depth of field. So you need really good lenses. So the thing is, if you use a DSLR with a low light lens, like starting from 3.5, and you use a good lens on a system camera with starting with 2.0 or something like that, the advantage of the bigger sensor is gone. So you have to deal with good lenses, with high quality lenses, if you want to get the advantage of the bigger sensor of the DSLR. So talking about the stuff inside the camera, it depends on the model. I mean, there are models they have a lot of inside, and there are models that don't have a lot of. In this case, the G6 has a lot of inside. The G6 has a Wi-Fi module inside, which the Rebel SL1 doesn't have. They have a lot of art filters or creative filters inside. They had a lot of scene programs inside. The G6 has the turnable screen with the touch screen. The Rebel only have the fixed screen. Okay, you can go up a model one class higher. Then you have the turnable touchscreen also, but it's a little bit a bigger camera. You see in Germany it's the D700. You see it's a little bit higher, a little bit wider, so and a little bit more heavy. But on the 700 or 650. You have the turnable screen, so you can have also DSLRs with the turnable screen. Yeah, so usually the system cameras has a little bit more newer techniques inside than in DSLR. They are a little bit more advanced in this point of comparison. Yeah, but these are the main features and the main points between DSLR and system camera. So it's up to you. You must make your mind which one is better. One thing, if you go to a Canon or Nikon DSLR, you have a lot of lenses you can buy. If you go to a Lumix or a Panasonic or Olympus, you have lenses, you have enough lenses, you can choose between a lot of lenses, but for sure the EOS system or the Nikon system is on the market several years, 10-20 years, so there are a lot of lenses, special lenses, macro lenses, tilt shift lenses, ultra wide angle lenses, fish eyes and stuff like that. And for the system cameras there are a lot of lenses, but it's not the wide variety like for DSLR. But this one is grown up. This one is a real good camera compared to the former system cameras. It makes a real big step up, and so they are almost on the same level. So you have to make up your mind what do you need, what fits your needs better, what is your most important point, optical viewfinder, electronical viewfinder. So there are different points you should go through and make up your mind which one fits your needs better and which one do you like more. So I hope my comparison of the two systems helps you a little bit to understand what the differences are and to understand which one is better for you. One important thing, let me say at the last point, is you have to work with your camera. If you want the best out of your camera, you have to work with the camera, you have to learn your camera, you have to check the pictures, you have to see what the picture quality is and how you get the best picture quality. You have to check the lenses. It doesn't make a sense to buy an expensive camera and put on a cheap lens on the camera. You will throw away most of the picture quality with the lens, not with the camera. So it's very important. You have to learn your camera, you have to work with your camera. Let the camera 9 months on the table and then go to the holidays and take some pictures, and then you come back from the holidays and say, oh my god, I didn't take one good picture. That's not worth to buy a real good camera. You have to work best of daily or weekly with a camera. Learn the menus, learn the picture quality, learn to get the best picture quality, learn the depth of field and stuff, and then you will get a real good camera, both. So make up your mind. I hope my little review helped you a little bit. come back on my YouTube channel. There are a lot of more videos to see, also from the G6, and a little bit later on from the Rebel SL1. I will make also another video. I have the preview videos of both, and so I hope you enjoyed my video. Come back again, see me on my YouTube channel. Until now, have fun taking pictures, and I say moin moin.